Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Cowboys 8-time Pro Bowler predicted to bolt for Jets in $12 million move. The Dallas Cowboys face a decision on the future of several key free agents, including 8-time Pro Bowl tackle Tyron Smith. Bleacher Report's Gary Davenport offered projections for some of the top NFL free agents. The analyst predicts Smith will sign a one-year, $12 million deal with the New York Jets this offseason. It's entirely possible that Smith will return to Big D, Davenport wrote in a February 22, 2024 story titled, Best Team Fit, Projected Contract for the Top NFL Free Agent at Every Position. But the Cowboys are over $20 million in the salary cap red, and the franchise tag of just under $20 million isn't an option. If Smith does hit the open market, there's another team with Super Bowl aspirations that desperately needs to upgrade the offensive line in 2024. The New York Jets don't have much cap space at present, but like most teams they will spend the next few weeks freeing some up, Davenport continued. Once they do, the number one priority has to be bolstering an offensive line that was hit hard by injuries last year and that Pro Football Network ranked in the NFL's bottom 5 last season. Dallas Cowboys' Tyron Smith has missed significant time in 8 straight seasons. The issue for Smith has not been productivity but availability. Smith has missed significant time in 8 straight seasons with Dallas. The veteran still graded out among some of the top offensive linemen in 2023. Pro Football Focus gave Smith an 83.8 grade for his play last season. Smith played in 13 games in 2023, the most appearances for the star since 2019. The former All-Pro had been mentioned as a potential cap casualty last offseason. Instead, Smith agreed to revising his deal to have per-game incentives in the final season of a massive 8-year, $97.6 million contract. Cowboys rumors. Tyron Smith is not considering retirement and wants to play for Dallas in 2024. The decision on Smith's future may be up to the Cowboys. The Dallas Morning News' Calvin Watkins reported that Smith desires to play for the Cowboys in 2024 and is not considering retirement. If the Dallas front office is unwilling to bring Smith back, would the veteran be willing to leave the Cowboys for the first time in his career? The Jets have needs on the offensive line, but it is hard to argue this move gets Smith closer to a Super Bowl. Tyron Smith, the longest-tenured player on the Cowboys, wants to play another season with the team, a person familiar with his thinking told the Dallas Morning News. Watkins detailed in a February 19 article called, Veteran OT Tyron Smith isn't thinking of retirement, wants Cowboys return for 2024. Smith, 33, becomes an unrestricted free agent this spring and there is uncertainty about a return. Smith has been named to 8 Pro Bowl teams with 2 All-Pro selections. He was named to the NFL's All-Decade 2010s team as well. NFL free agency. Dallas Cowboys tackle Tyron Smith's projected market value is a one-year, $7.4 million contract. The challenge for the Cowboys is there are not a plethora of available NFL offensive linemen. Even if Smith misses time, having the veteran for 13 games is likely preferable to the alternative option playing for a full season. Spotrac projects Smith's market value to be a one-year, $7.4 million contract. Smith could once again be willing to include an incentive-based structure based on games played in 2024. Of the many issues that the Cowboys will need to sort out in the coming weeks as they rebuild their roster after an outstanding 2023 season turned into another baffling playoff flop, what to do at running back is not the most pressing. But incumbent Tony Pollard is a free agent and the Cowboys will need to figure out whether to keep him or bring in another player. And former Jets general manager Mike Tannenbaum thinks there is an easy solution on hand. Take away a divisional foe's best player. That would be Saquon Barkley of the Giants. Asked where Barkley would fit, Tannenbaum said on ESPN's Get Up, "This one's easy, it's the Dallas Cowboys." Tony Pollard was mildly disappointing replacing Zeke Elliott, his production went down by about 25%. Cowboys signing Saquon Barkley would be a shot at Giants. Indeed, Pollard struggled last year as he was coming back from a broken fibula suffered during the team's playoff loss to San Francisco the previous year. But his first go at replacing Elliott did not go all that well. Pollard logged 1,005 yards this season, which was good for 12th in the NFL and only 2 yards off last year's total, 1,007. But he did so on 252 carries, and his average of 4.0 yards per carry was well off last year's mark, 5.2 yards per rush. He struggled in short yardage situations too. Barkley, though, is more of an every-down back who can grind out tough yards and still has big playability as both a rusher and a receiver. It doesn't hurt that signing him would be a direct shot at the Giants. So when you're looking at free agency, the first thing you do is say, if we're going to go outside our building, who can we get in the division to help us and hurt our opponent? Tannenbaum said, "Trust me, the last thing that the New York Giants want to see, if Saquon Barkley graduates this year, is him with a star on the side of his helmet." Can you imagine the first time that Dallas rolls into town with Saquon Barkley as a Cowboy? He would be perfect because he can catch, he can run. I think his pass protection has actually gotten better. And based on the way Tony Pollard played, I actually think he would improve that positions for the 2024 Cowboys. $30 to $37 million for RB too rich? Barkley was a Pro Bowl running back in 2022, but slipped in 2023 as the Giants' offense sputtered. He fought his way through an ankle injury that cost him 3 games and slowed him down for longer. He finished the year with 962 yards on 247 carries, and posted an average of only 3.9 yards per carry. Those numbers could scare off other suitors, but the Cowboys should recognize that Barkley could be in line for a bounce-back year. When healthy, Barkley is among the best backs in the NFL, and could wind up being a bargain given the unimpressive season he had with the Giants. Still, the Cowboys' salary cap situation is tight. Barkley is projected at Spotrac to have a market value of $9.9 million per year, and projected to garner a 3-year, $30 million contract. Pro Football Focus is a little more bullish on the running back market in free agency and is projecting a 3-year deal worth $37 million for Barkley. The site rates him as the top running back in free agency this offseason. Cowboys predicted to cut ties with $58 million bust in bold move. It is maybe not the boldest of projections, but it still would represent a significant move on the part of the Cowboys, dumping wide receiver Michael Gallup, who has massively underachieved since Dallas gave him a 5-year, $57.5 million extension in 2022. The idea was to have Gallup be the team's deep play threat, stretching the field for CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, but Gallup was never really up to the task. In an article titled, 2024 NFL Offseason, Bold Moves, Trades in Free Agency, Draft for All 32 Teams, ESPN foresees the Cowboys cutting ties with Gallup in the coming weeks. As Aaron Schatz wrote, Gallup has never quite come back from the ACL injury he suffered near the end of the 2021 season. Last season, he was the clear third among the Cowboys' main receivers. He ranked 59th in receiving Dyer out of 81 qualifying receivers. By comparison, CeeDee Lamb was third and Brandon Cooks was 28th after coming on strong in the second half of the season. A regular cut of Gallup would leave a ton of dead money on the Cowboys' cap. But a post-June 1st cut would give the Cowboys $9.5 million in extra cap space with $4.4 million in dead money. That extra cap space would help the Cowboys, who are currently $20 million over the cap for 2024. Michael Gallup was emblematic of Cowboys' struggles. In fact, Gallup was emblematic of all that went wrong for the Cowboys this season. He was a major disappointment during the season, with 34 catches and just 418 yards, the fewest of his career. He posted good numbers in the playoff loss to the Packers, 6 catches and 103 yards, but did not make a catch until the Cowboys were down to the Packers, 20-0, and had only 2 first-half catches for 25 yards. Now, with the Cowboys facing a massive payroll crunch, cutting Gallup is almost a must-do for Dallas. The team is well over the cap, as Schatz points out, but it also needs to work out long-term deals for Lamb, quarterback Dak Prescott, which should actually lower the Cowboys' cap number, and edge rusher Micah Parsons. The Cowboys also need to either pay Tony Pollard at running back or bring in someone else, which won't be cheap. Star left tackle Tyron Smith is a free agent, too. Would Jerry Jones admit his mistake? Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones does not much like admitting to mistakes, but it is clear that signing Gallup to a major contract and trading away Amari Cooper to Cleveland was a catastrophic error. Cooper has caught 150 passes for 2,410 yards and 14 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. Gallup has 73 catches for 842 yards and 6 touchdowns in that same span. Of course, getting rid of Gallup would leave a hole in the Cowboys' wide receiver core, and the hope would have to be that third-year receiver Jalen Tolbert, a third-round pick in 2022, would fill the gap. There is a strong crop of incoming receivers in the NFL draft, too, and the Cowboys could seek some depth that way, too. Either way, they've sunk too much money into Gallup, and it's time to fix that mistake.